Too much sugar. Before you resign yourself to a lifetime of avoiding bread, you should know that your leg muscles have a specific mechanism to pull sugar out of your bloodstream that doesn't need insulin to work. When you eat a lot of sugar, your blood glucose spikes. To get that sugar out of your blood and into your cells for energy, your pancreas pumps out insulin. Insulin acts like a key that unlocks your cells so the sugar can enter. But do this constantly, and your cells get coated in fat. The locks break and they stop listening to the insulin signal. This is what's known as insulin resistance. Ignore it long enough, and the beta cells in your pancreas burn out completely from trying to force the doors open. That means type 2 diabetes. If you catch it before it gets that bad, you can reverse it without starving yourself. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar before a meal introduces acetic acid to your stomach. This slows down digestion and blunts the glucose spike. But the real cheat code here is as simple as walking. When you take a brisk 15-minute walk right after eating, your leg muscles pull the glucose directly out of your blood to use for fuel. They bypass the blocked insulin receptors entirely. Combine that with a 16 to 18-hour intermittent fast to lower your liver's stored sugar, and your cells will quickly start listening to insulin again. Sitting all day. Sweating for an hour at the gym barely puts a dent in what an office chair does to your body. A 2-minute pacing habit does far more to reboot your metabolism. Sitting isn't just resting, it's a mechanical posture that wrecks your biology. When your knees are bent at 90 degrees all day, your psoas muscle, the thick band connecting your spine to your legs, permanently shortens. The chair does all the work holding you up, so eventually your butt muscles forget how to fire. Sitting also drops your body's production of lipoprotein lipase, the enzyme that clears fat from your blood, to near zero. You can't fix 8 hours of sitting with 1 hour of lifting. You have to break up the hours of stillness. Pacing for just 2 minutes every 45 minutes provides enough activity to turn the fat-burning enzymes back on. To fix the structural damage, hang from a pull-up bar for 60 seconds to decompress your spinal discs. Then, do a daily couch stretch against a wall, holding it for at least 90 seconds. Anything less won't do much to help the shortened connective tissue return to its original factory setting. Drinking. Most people assume a long history of drinking guarantees a ruined liver. What they don't know is that vital organ can start reversing the decay in less time than it takes to finish a diet program. Alcohol is processed by your liver into acetaldehyde, a highly toxic chemical. To process it, the liver burns through your body's master antioxidant, glutathione. Once those antioxidants are gone, the acetaldehyde suffocates your liver cells in fat and triggers inflammation. Chronic drinking also shrinks the white matter in your brain, slowing down your thinking. Push the liver inflammation too far, and it turns into cirrhosis, thick, permanent scar tissue that never heals. But if you stop drinking before the scarring starts, the repair timeline is incredibly fast. With zero alcohol, a fatty liver starts clearing out the fat in 2 to 6 weeks, and your brain's white matter begins regenerating within the first month. To help your liver restock its defenses, milk thistle reduces inflammation and promotes liver cell regeneration, while a supplement called NAC, short for N-acetylcysteine, helps rebuild that lost glutathione. For the brain, adding vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, helps keep your brain cells functioning properly so they can execute the repair process. Meanwhile, omega-3s supply the structural fats required to physically rebuild that damaged white matter. The system is fully wired to clean up the mess. You just have to stop actively breaking it. Skipping sunscreen. Getting a sunburn does a lot more than just give you wrinkles. It permanently ruins the structural proteins holding your skin together. Luckily, there's ways to help your skin cells manufacture brand new ones. When UV radiation hits your skin, it doesn't just sit on the surface. It penetrates deep into the dermis and creates free radicals. These unstable molecules act like microscopic chainsaws, chewing through the collagen and elastin strands that keep your face tight. UV rays also scramble your cellular DNA. If that damage goes too deep, it causes permanent sunspots and skin cancer. You can't scrub away a mutation, but you can rebuild the structure. First, stop the bleeding. Wear SPF 30 every day to block new UV rays, and apply a topical vitamin C serum in the morning to neutralize active free radicals. At night, use topical retinoids, which are vitamin A derivatives that enter your skin cells and signal your fibroblasts to start producing collagen again. Even though they help, creams take months to work and can only do so much. To reverse deep damage, you'll need to see a professional who can use techniques like IPL to clear the sunspots and microneedling to create micropunctures that trigger your body to flood the tissue with brand new collagen and elastin. Wrecked metabolism. Crash dieting to lose weight usually ruins your metabolism. The fastest way to get your burn rate back to normal actually involves eating more calories on purpose. When you drastically cut calories for a crash diet, your body assumes you're starving to death. To keep you alive, your thyroid slows down your basal metabolic rate. You burn far fewer calories just sitting on the couch. Because muscle requires a lot of energy to maintain, your body cannibalizes your muscle tissue to conserve fuel. When you finally eat a normal amount of food again, you immediately gain the weight back as fat. To fix it, you just reverse diet. You can't jump back to 2,000 calories a day. Instead, you have to move in small increments. Slowly add back just 50 to 100 calories of protein per week. This microscopic increase tricks your thyroid into safely raising your metabolic burn rate without storing fat. Pair that slow increase with heavy resistance training. Doing so will give your body the amino acids and mechanical signals it needs to rebuild the muscle tissue you starved away. Screen time eye damage. You've been told blue light is frying your eyes, so you bought the glasses. The glasses are mostly pointless. The thing wearing your eyes out is actually something entirely different. Blue light disrupts your sleep cycle, but it isn't permanently blinding you. The real damage comes from the physical mechanics of staring too long. When you focus on a glowing rectangle 12 inches from your face, the ciliary muscles inside your eyes have to flex constantly to reshape your lens for close-up vision. It's the ocular equivalent of holding a dumbbell at a half curl for hours straight. Those muscles get completely exhausted. Your blink rate also drops by half. Without regular blinking, the lipid layer of your tear film evaporates, leaving the surface of your eye exposed to the air. That combination of muscle fatigue and dryness causes blurred vision, migraines, and chronic eye strain. To give those overworked muscles a break, use the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at an object 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This allows the ciliary muscles to finally relax. To fix the dry eye, use preservative-free, lipid-based artificial tears to return that protective moisture layer. You can also toss a warm compress over your eyes for a few minutes. The heat melts the natural lubricating oils in your eyelids that get stagnant and clogged when you aren't blinking, which gets your eyes lubricating themselves again. Caffeine addiction. Somewhere along the way, coffee stopped making you feel good and started just making you feel normal. Like it or not, you're dealing with a textbook case of chemical addiction. Throughout the day, your brain produces a chemical called adenosine. It binds to specific receptors and makes you feel sleepy. Caffeine blocks those receptors so you stay alert. But your brain adapts quickly. When it realizes its sleepy signals are blocked, it simply grows extra adenosine receptors. Now you need a double espresso just to block the new ones and reach a normal baseline. If you miss a dose, all those unblocked receptors get flooded with adenosine at once. This causes a brutal withdrawal headache, not to mention exhaustion. You can reverse the dependency, but quitting cold turkey's a terrible idea. Taper your intake down slowly over 7 to 14 days. As the caffeine drops, the brain realizes it doesn't need the extra hardware and prunes the excess adenosine receptors away. To keep your focus sharp in the meantime, you can supplement with L-theanine. This amino acid, the same compound found in green tea, alters your brainwaves to give you a state of alert relaxation, taking the edge off the energy crashes and keeping your productivity high while your brain rewires itself. Bad posture. Looking down at your phone for hours a day doesn't just make your neck hurt. It forces a thick, permanent pad of fat and connective tissue to grow at the base of your neck just to keep your head from snapping forward. The human head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds. For every inch you crane it forward to look at a screen, the mechanical load on your cervical spine doubles. Spending hours hunched over a desk adds up to 60 pounds of stress on your neck. Your upper back muscles get stretched weak and your chest muscles tighten. Your body also builds a thick, fatty pad, often called a dowager's hump, to protect the stressed vertebrae. Ignore it for decades, and your spine will grow calcified bone spurs that lock the bad posture in permanently. To reverse the curve before those bone spurs form, you need to pull your skeleton back into alignment. Lie backward over a foam roller, making sure it's positioned under your upper back, not any lower. This opens up the stiff joints in your mid-back and stretches out your tight chest. Then, perform daily chin tucks against a wall. This strengthens the muscles around your neck so they can drag your head back over your shoulders. Eating like garbage. A diet of factory-made food doesn't just make you gain weight, it physically strips away the protective lining of your intestines. Your gut's lined with a mucosal barrier that keeps bacteria and undigested food from leaking into your bloodstream. Right outside that barrier lives your microbiome, trillions of good bacteria that regulate your immune system and your mood. When you live on highly processed food packed with chemical emulsifiers and zero fiber, you're starving those good microbes to death. Without them to look after the place, that protective lining thins out and breaks down, triggering inflammation all over your body. Luckily, the cells lining your gut are some of the fastest regenerating cells in your body. The entire lining completely replaces itself every 5 to 7 days. To speed up the repair, you can take L-glutamine. It's the exact amino acid your intestinal cells use as fuel to rebuild the barrier. To bring the good bacteria back, aim to eat at least 30 different plant-based foods a week. That sounds impossible, but it just means mixing up your diet. Every different fruit, vegetable, grain, and nut counts. These prebiotic fibers feed the surviving good microbes, helping them multiply quickly, take back control, and push the bad stuff out. Smoking or vaping. If you vape or smoke, your lungs are currently carrying a massive backlog of toxic sludge. That's because every puff you take paralyzes the tiny cleaning crew inside your chest. Your airways are lined with microscopic hairs called cilia. They're designed to sweep mucus, dust, and toxins out of your body. But when you inhale hot chemical vapor or cigarette smoke, those hairs instantly freeze up. Since the sweeping stops, thick tar pools at the bottom of your lungs, destroying the delicate air sacs that hold your oxygen. Once those are gone, they never grow back. But if you quit before that permanent damage is done, your lungs are actually remarkably forgiving. Within days after quitting, those paralyzed hairs start waking up. They get to work sweeping out the old, accumulated tar, which is why you cough so much right after you stop. To help with the cleanup, you can use N-acetylcysteine, the same supplement we talked about earlier for drinking. NAC naturally thins out thick, heavy mucus, making it easier for those waking hairs to clear the junk out. Finally, throw in some light cardio, like a daily brisk walk. This forces your lungs to expand their capillary beds and improves oxygen exchange in the surviving healthy tissue, giving your chest a much-needed second wind. Skipping workouts. Quitting the gym for a few years makes your muscles shrink and leaves your joints totally unsupported. But if you decide to go back, you still have an advantage over someone who never lifted weights at all. As you age, your body naturally loses muscle mass and bone density. This is a condition known as sarcopenia. If you stop lifting weights and sit on a couch for 5 years, your muscle fibers physically shrink because they aren't experiencing any mechanical load. Your metabolism slows down, and your joints take the brunt of your body weight. But you don't have to start from scratch. When you lift weights and build muscle the first time, your muscle cells grow new core components, called myonuclei, to handle the larger size. The good news is, those myonuclei never leave. Even when you stop going to the gym and your muscles shrink back down, the extra nuclei stay locked inside the cells. This is the science of muscle memory. Because the structural blueprint is still there waiting, regaining lost muscle is much faster than it was to build it the first time. You just need to wake the muscle cells back up using progressive overload, which means lifting slightly heavier weights or doing a few more reps every week so your muscles are constantly challenged. To support muscle growth, add a daily scoop of creatine. It keeps your muscles hydrated and helps them recover faster. We're all driving around with our body's check engine light flashing, but at least now you know how to patch up some of the leaks without needing to replace the entire transmission. Good luck out there, and try not to break anything else this week.